Hello everyone, it's me, Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my personal top 10 tips for being a writer. I was originally going to call this top 10 tips for beginners, but then I thought, you know what, no. These are things that I believe that every writer, no matter how experienced or unexperienced, need to hear or need to relearn or need to remember. Because in all honesty, there's not one set of rules for beginner writers and another set of rules for non-beginner writers. We all sort of follow the same wayward path, up and down, going, you know what I mean. Everyone can benefit, no matter how experienced you think you are. Can you hear my fan in the background? Yeah? Good. It's hot. Tip number 1, practice as often as you can. Now I know a lot of people out there like to tell you must write every day in order to be a good writer. Like, throw that advice straight out the window, guys. Please practice as often as you can, as often as your life, your schedule, your mental or physical health allows you to. You do not have to write every single day in order to become a great writer. You just have to write, I don't even want to say consistently, but you write whenever you feel you can, whenever you have the time. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll get with writing, the more you can explore your style, your voice, your story, the quicker you can move on to truly learning about the pros and cons of your own writing style. Number 2, inspiration is everywhere. Literally. It's everywhere. I once got inspired to write an entire trilogy by my children discussing if there were female bees or not. Seriously, there is no way you can't look and not get inspired by something. And on that note, don't be afraid to be inspired by songs, TV shows, music videos, movies, other people's writing, other people's art, pictures of nature. As long as you are not copying word for word, character for character, it's okay to be inspired by others. Number 3, find your own way. Find your own way of learning, find your own way of doing things, find your own place to do things. No writer is the same. We don't operate the same way as people. We sure as heck don't operate the same way as writers. I can write very comfortably in my living room with the kids screaming, most likely on the sofa right next to me as I type. A lot of people feel comfortable writing in the morning, some in the evening, some in short random bursts throughout the day. One of the most important things is finding what works for you and finding the best way that you work in order to get the best out of you. It's trial and error and it takes some time. It's really, really a good thing to try and do. Number 4, read. I don't like giving this advice because I don't follow it myself. I love books and I love reading. I'm not a very big reader. I don't read very often. I don't read outside my genre. But I'm not going to sit here and deny that reading doesn't help you become a better writer, or at least a more informed writer of genres, of how to do description and character arcs and setting and pacing. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it, okay? Hands up, I won't. And you know what, guys? Hands in the air, fan fiction counts, okay? Even crappy fan fiction, because then you can see how not to write. Or actually, quick amendment, you can see how you don't want to write. When you get more comfortable with writing, when you're ready to learn and get into the depth of story structure itself, reading can also be a big hand in that, especially if you sit and take the time to analyse your favourite stories for what you like and what you don't like. Number 5, write for yourself. And no, I don't mean it how it sounds. Write what you want. Indulge yourself. If you want to write a coffee shop AU but use your own characters, then you know what? Write a coffee shop AU. Go on ahead. If that's something you enjoy, then you do it. The more things you can find to make writing a more fun, pleasurable experience, because it does get stressful, is to write whatever the hell you want. Write the things that you want to read. Write the book that you wish you had read when you were younger. Quick addition from the editing room here. This also does include using as many tropes and cliches that you want to, if it fits in with your novel. Doesn't matter what people say about them. Doesn't matter if other people think they suck or they're overused. If you like them, use them. Because this is your story, not anyone else's. Number 6. Don't delete your work. I'm serious. I know a lot of people go around saying, we must back up your work. Don't forget to back up your work. Like, back up your work, guys. But don't delete anything. If you've written a scene, for example, and you decide you don't like it, don't delete it. Don't get rid of it. Take it out of whatever you're writing and stick it somewhere else. Stick it in a rejects document, okay? Because the amount of times I have taken stuff out of my manuscripts, scenes and conversation and plot points that don't fit within that one story, I have needed it for something else. I have wanted it to put it back into the manuscript because I've twisted the plot around and it works again. You have no idea how much your rejected stuff could come in handy. And this is ideas as well. Don't get rid of any ideas. Store them somewhere. They are nuggets of inspiration. They are mwah. They're fantastic and they're brilliant. So no, don't delete your stuff. Put them somewhere else for later. Number 7, writing is rewriting. Say it again. Writing is rewriting. Most people, for some strange reason, think that you write the first draft and you're done and you're dusted. Like, no, you're not. I'm really sorry. No. The hard work comes next. The first draft is a foundation. Okay, it is the ingredients of a cake lying on the counter. Rewriting is starting the actual build itself. It's sticking all of those ingredients together in order to hopefully get a cake at the end of it. Don't put yourself down. Don't feel bad if the first draft of what you have written does not meet your expectations, because guaranteed no writer, no author will ever stand up and say that their first draft is their only draft. It's okay for your writing to not sound good the first time you do it. It's rewriting, the actual hard work, which turns ingredients into the cake. I'm going too far with these analogies now. Let's move on. Number 8, there are no rules. I am such a stickler for this. I don't believe in the rules of writing. They shouldn't exist, really, because writing advice and writing rules, there's no rules to writing. There's advice. And what's advice? People's opinions. Okay? Some people prefer to use lots and lots of flowy descriptive writing in their work. I call it purple prose. I can't stand it. There's nothing worse than a new writer coming across a piece of writing advice such as never use adverbs, or don't use said, or you have to read every day, or you have to write every day, and sort of think to themselves, wait a second, I do use adverbs, or I do use said, or I don't write every day, and immediately put themselves down as a bad writer. And there's something inherently wrong with that. That's such negative thinking, and the way writing advice, especially writing advice, has come from big published authors, Stephen King, is touted as rules that everyone must follow, is ridiculous and damaging, and I hate it. So you do not need to follow the rules, okay? Any piece of writing advice that you have, when you are writing your first draft, when you are just starting out, when you are trying to find your voice, don't follow it. The only time you need to look up and follow or learn any sort of writing advice like adverbs, like sentence structure, like pacing or anything like that is when you're in the revision stage, is when you're rewriting your work in order to make it better. And even then, it's advice. You don't have to follow it. If you like using adverbs, then bloody hell go ahead and use some adverbs. Not following writing advice does not make you a lesser writer than someone who does. Okay, it makes you you. Number 9, don't compare yourself. We all have the urge, we all do it, no matter how many times we all tell ourselves not to and that it doesn't make us any less of a writer, we still do it. We compare ourselves to our favourite authors, we compare ourselves to random writers on the internet, we compare ourselves to everybody. There are going to be writers out there who are better than you. That's just facts, okay? It could be a random writer you see on the internet, it could be a published author, but there's always going to be writers out there who are not as good as you, published authors included. Everybody is at a different stage of their writer journey than everybody else, and you have no idea how much someone has or has not worked on a piece of their writing before they post it on the internet. I mean, published books have gone through how many years of writing, rewriting, rounds of edits in order for them to be published. And then even in those cases, if you compare an author's published works from the first book they wrote to their most current book, this book over here, the oldest one, is gonna sound crap. It's gonna sound so bad because they've learnt since then. It's a very difficult thing to not compare yourselves, but do not let it define you and do not let it stop you, because you're only going to get better. And I bet you anything there's writers out there who think that you are better than them. And finally, number 10, have fun. There is no more important tip that I have for anybody than have fun. Writing is fun, it's imaginative, it's daring, it's exploring your inner desires and fantasies and etc, etc, etc. If you want to be a serious writer, understand and go into writing with the understanding that it is a very, very difficult thing to do, and it takes a very, very long time in order to get your idea from your head to the page and into something that is halfway decent to actually be put out there and published. You need to make sure that you have fun along the way. Whether that is writing what you want to write, whether that is sitting there and writing some little fan fiction that you can't get out of your head from your favourite characters, whether that is writing a scene that you know is not going to be in your novel, but hell, you want to write it anyway. If you find that you're not enjoying writing, stop and take a break and come back to it later. Try and find the joy in writing and keep a hold of that joy that you have, whether that is your plot, whether that is your characters, whether that is a fan fiction that you enjoy. Always remind yourself about why you started this journey in the first place, and don't give up. You got this. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what are some of your tips for writers, and I'll see you in my next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.